The really wonderful thing about our Letty is the variety of her acting. She can do everything. She can be a tramp or a duchess. She can act a little laundry woman from Menilmontant, as she does in Les Enfants. Or when she's with the Count, she knows how to carry herself to perfection. She's got style and breeding. And that's pretty stunning for any actress.
Et ça, c'est étonnant chez une actrice.
Écoute le paradis, Frédéric. Je riais comme cela, moi aussi, autrefois. Mais j'éclatais de rire sans raison, sans penser à rien d'autre qu'à rire. Et maintenant?
Tu es triste.
Non, mais je ne suis pas gaie non plus. Dans la boîte à musique, un petit ressort s'est cassé. L'air est toujours le même, mais la musique a changé.
Dreams and life are the same, or life's not worth living, Baptiste had told Garance at their first meeting. 8 years have passed. Not only is Le Maître a star, but so's Baptiste. Little comfort it brings him, for his dream is a countess far away, and even the adoration of the crowd is no consolation for a doomed love.
Amid scenes the most unforgettable the war has yet called forth, great Paris is now free, and very free is Paris.
Carné and Prévert returned to a jubilant Paris, but a hard winter was to follow in every way. There were scores to settle, wounds which the escapist days of Les Enfants hadn't had to cope with. The aftermath of war deepened Prévert's pessimism. All Carné wanted was a sad Paris love story.
Février 1945. Vers la fin d'une journée d'hiver, le dur et triste hiver qui suivit le magnifique été de la libération de Paris. La guerre n'est pas encore finie, mais au nord de la vie coutumière reprend son cours avec ses joies simples, ses grosses difficultés, ses grandes misères, ses terribles secrets.
In Les Portes de la Nuit, we don't talk about the Germans. First of all, because it's set in the winter of 1945 and the Germans had gone. Paris had been liberated. We don't talk about the Germans, but we do deal with the misery of that terrible winter which followed the liberation of Paris. It was really unbelievably cold.
Pierre Brasseur plays the black marketeer with the shining black limousine.
C'est pour dîner?
Non, donnez-moi une fine à l'eau.
On ne sait jamais. Peut-être que tu as eu tort de venir par ici.
Young Yves Montand, in the absence of Gabin, plays the honest young lover.
Je suis venu ici parce que j'avais rendez-vous. Et pas plus tard que ce soir. Avec qui? Avec une belle fille. La plus belle fille du monde. T'entends? La plus belle.
Fate takes a hand to show him his lover in the clutches of the villain.
Pourquoi pas?
If you didn't know from the clothes and the dialogue, the music would tell you who to trust and who not. It was too black and white for Carné.
Instead of making a rather fantastic, imaginative film, such as I had in mind, Prévert wanted to reflect the social scene. His social views were becoming more extreme. In other words, all the workers had been in the resistance and all the bourgeoisie were collaborators. At which point one might add, I myself don't defend the industrialists who collaborated, but when you have an industrial establishment and there's an occupying army, one is more or less forced to collaborate. I can't say that you necessarily collaborate politically or ideologically. That's something else. But if you collaborate, if to keep your factory running you have to work with the Germans, then you have no real choice. I had a bit of an argument with him, and I told him, all this oversimplifying, it's getting a bit much.
There's even fate in the shape of an avenging locomotive. The rails of destiny stretch into an ominous future. The collaborator, poor Serge Reggiani, has no chance. It is to be the end of Prévert and Carné's partnership.
Prévert didn't want to work anymore. He'd had such a rough ride over Les Portes de la Nuit. He really took it to heart, even more than me. He said he didn't want to work anymore. He'd had enough.
They went their separate ways. In the course of the next 10 years, Carné completed 4 more features. Remember, too, that the list of failed or abandoned projects is always twice as long, at least. Then in 1956 came a film about the young, which rather boldly stated the opposition between the old guard and the new. If it seemed like a half-hearted attempt to climb onto the bandwagon of youth, it was heartily rejected. François Truffaut wrote a fierce dismissal of Carné and the Ancients. Jean-Luc Godard was not far behind, with Jacques Rivette, editor of the influential Cahiers du Cinéma.
It's a very delicate matter to discuss the Nouvelle Vague, because everyone has the right to his own opinion, even if they express them violently. But as Talleyrand said, anything that is exaggerated is unimportant. Yet all the same, there's something a bit suspect in their behavior. I mean, they launched this campaign against the old guard, and lo and behold, it was just to take their place. That's undeniable. Well, it's not exactly a pretty sight. All the same, it's quite funny that in Truffaut's case, as soon as he wasn't a critic anymore, he wrote to me to congratulate me about a film of mine called Terrain Vague. And I wrote back, what a shame you aren't a critic anymore.
But things didn't improve. Carné's own contributions to the new cinema were often feeble ventures at catching a mood which 20 years before he and Prévert had seemed not only to echo, but to distill, even to create. Perhaps he hadn't, after all, taken the camera into the street, but he'd taken the street into the studio and made of it a dream, and he'd be remembered for that. The films declined, the honours increased. Truffaut eventually, shortly before his death, generously offered the opinion that Les Enfants du Paradis was worth all of his 23 films put together.